when you walk into your second season of your marital restoration, you are not in a place yet to pursue your spouse. You are not yet in a place to go after them. Conditions vary. There are people who have children where you may need some little bit of contact to make sure that things are balanced in. Sometimes you share accounts, sometimes you share responsibilities, and all these other things. So there may be a level of communication that may be there, but you are not yet equipped or fully prepared to receive them back. No matter how much you want this, you are not yet fully prepared, or they are not yet ready to come back to you, no matter how much they want to. So you are two individuals that are now in a season where there may be a little bit of contact between you and your spouse, your estranged spouse, but it has to be managed in such a way where you know there are things you still have to deal with God. Because if you jump this process and go back to the person, you would have taken a carnal route that can make you go into this cycle again. There's a higher possibility that you may go into the cycle again. So you want to be gentle and steady, because in the second season of your journey towards reconciliation and restoration, God is going to be revealing things about you to you. In other words, you are still submitting to God, but not so much as in a position where you are repenting of whatever has been happening. God will take you deeper into Himself, and He will be taking you deeper into yourself. When you get deeper into God, you get deeper into you. So it's no longer a place of condemnation where you're just repenting to God of your past indiscretions and how you have failed to handle your situation, your life, your spouse, and the whole setup of the union. You are now at a place where God is asking and requiring of you to seek after Him, so that He reveals to you the roots of whatever came about in your union or in your life. This is a place where God shows you things that probably happened in your life way back that you might not even be aware of. That can be roots, that can be doors and areas the enemy used to enter, either in your life, in your spouse's life, or in the union itself. God will then show you areas where you did not hear Him or obey Him, and the devil used those as a leeway to attack you. God always warns us before the enemy attacks, but sometimes we get too comfortable and we get too arrogant to listen and obey God. So now God is now taking you back to redress and address the things that were left unguarded, the places that were left unguarded, the things in your heart that caused you to either be lukewarm towards Him, or for your heart to be hardened towards your spouse, or your spouse towards you. So in this second part of your journey, in this second season of your journey, you are being drawn deeper into releasing things out of you, into letting go of things that you'll be holding on to. And this is a very delicate process. It requires time because, for lack of a better phrase, God is breaking you down. God is crushing you. God is opening you up. You are on a table and He's a surgeon, and He's slicing delicately and performing surgery and removing the cancers of your life, the lumps of your life, the blockages of your life, the things that are not allowing the flow of blood into your veins and your arteries. When He does that to you, that will open up a flow of life into your life that will also help you have a better glimpse and a better outlook on the whole union, even on your spouse. So this is a delicate process that you don't want to rush. For some people, this can take as long as a year. For some people, it can be as short as a month or 2 months, depending on how much you yield to God. If you surrender and give up to God, it's better for you because it makes the process shorter. But if you fight, and I feel sorry for fighters, people who hold on and fight, and God will break you eventually. Everybody breaks. God is like, you are like in an interrogation room, and God is questioning, asking hard questions, and He wants you also to learn to ask Him appropriate questions. This is a place where God teaches you to speak to Him as a father, as a God, as a husband, as a lover, as a provider, as everything that He wants to be to you. And you are going through not only a crash course, but a wholesome course where you learn a whole lot, not only about you, but about even your whole family, where you're coming from, the generations before and the generations after. Now, this place is critical. One of the reasons why this place is critical is this is also the place of the promise. If you handle this place well and you submit to God properly, God has a promise that He is going to give you. Most people who are here now are on this phase. They are now looking for information concerning the promise, because you are here because something in you confirms that God has said to you in many ways that God can speak to you, that you must stand for your marriage. I know there are easy commentaries and easy counselors out there would have told you to take another route of divorce or just giving up on the whole thing. But we are here to stand for the kingdom of God, and we're here to agree with you based on what God has said to you, that you should take the stand and fight and war, because He is going to restore your marriage. You may say, I'm not really sure if God has said this to me. Your being here is testament to that. There is enough word in the word of God that shows you that God is for marriage. God is for unconditional love. God is for the prosperity of your life. He says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. Those thoughts are not to harm you, but to give you a future and a hope, or an expected ending. If you're in the second season of your stand, you are in a season of promise. But God is not just going to drop that promise as if it's a freebie. He wants you to give up to Him. Sometimes He gives you before He breaks. Sometimes He breaks you, then He gives you. But most of this happens in this season. And there is nothing in this season that qualifies the promise. He gives you a promise at a place where either your spouse doesn't want to talk to you right now. He doesn't want to hear anything about your newfound God or your newfound faith. Or she doesn't want to hear anything about the goodness of your God. So you're still at a place where your contact has to be reserved. What you say matters, so you have to say less, especially about yourself. Some people ask, is it okay for me to tell my spouse that I'm standing for a marriage? Well, it depends with how you feel in your heart. Sometimes it's good, just throw it out there, not boastfully obviously, but just make them know you're not throwing in the towel. But it's not something you say to guilt trip someone or to make them look at you in a different eye. You are not at that place where they can do that right now, and they might actually despise what you're trying to do or what you're doing already. So this is your journey with God, and you still have to walk that walk. It's important for you to understand these things, because you will be surprised and excited because God will give you a promise. But that promise is not going to happen tomorrow. There is a process where God fulfills His promises. The promise of God will require answers from you. It will ask questions. You hear this with, I love the story of Isaac, where God asks Abraham to sacrifice his son. His son is the promise, and the promise is about to die. And the promise, Isaac is asking questions. We have the wood and we have the fire. Where is the burnt sacrifice or the lamb of sacrifice for God? And his father answers that promise, and he says, God will provide. The Lord will provide. So you are being introduced in a season with its own unique language. The language of your season in the second season of your stand is the Lord will do it. People will come and they'll ask you questions. Why are you putting yourself through so much pain when you can just look on the left and you get someone? You look on the right, you can get someone. This is a season and a time where you say, the Lord will provide. The Lord will provide an alternative. The Lord will provide a route. The Lord will provide a way out of my trials. You are not in a place where you answer anyone, including your relatives, and say, whatever happens, happens. You are now in the season of the promise. But before you climb onto Mount Moriah, you have to answer certain answers that will qualify you to meet the ram that will be caught with its horns in the thickets. When he was answering Isaac that answer, on the other side of the mountain, a ram is coming up. Every answer he gives puts the ram closer to his location of sacrifice. If he had said something wrong, perhaps he would have missed the ram. Perhaps he would have gone into the wrong place. But he obeys the voice of God that spoke to him. And he goes to the location that God revealed to him. And it is said in the word of God. And God said to him, lift up your eyes. God had to instruct him to lift up his eyes. In other words, it's a transitionary position of revelation where God says, you have confessed enough. You have obeyed enough. Now I know that anything I ask you, you will do. Now I will give you a revelation of something that has already been there, settled and done. It's waiting for you here. The ram was always there, but he could have missed it. He confessed right. He walked up the mountain of worship and tribulation and trial, which is where you are right now. But you have to develop the language of this season. And this is where I'm coming in to help you with that little bit of wisdom so that you can unlock the next level. You have to understand the language of the season. The children of Israel languished and died in the wilderness. It's the young generation that was brought after they rebelled against God that made it into Canaan. These ones did not develop the language of the wilderness. The wilderness has a language of not murmuring. They perished because they murmured against God. They didn't believe God could do it. So you're now in the second season of your stand. You have to develop a language. Write it on your posts, write it on your phones, on your tablets, on your PCs, wherever. Put stickers around. The Lord will do it. The Lord will redeem my marriage. The Lord has redeemed my marriage, if he has said already. The Lord has restored me. This is ludicrous to the next person or to your estranged spouse. They will laugh at it at times. They won't see a way. But God calls the things that are not as though they are, because he knows in him is the power to make them be. And this is the same calling you have been called to by God. So it's a place of acting crazy. It's a place of craziness. It's a place of being loyal to God. This is where you get broken, because God is showing you things that are not there, but they are there. That is what it is essentially. So the language of your season is important. The attitude of this season is important. You are talking speeches of faith. You are acting acts of faith, because nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to be pointing out in your second season to what you have been given. God calls the things that are not as though they are. And the world and the worlds, as we know, were framed by his word. He spoke a sea before there was a sea, and a sea became a sea, an ocean became an ocean, a lion became a lion. So God is putting you in a place where you identify as him. This is a place of identity. He shows you who you are in him. You are a daughter, you are a son. So he's asking you to be like your father. I hope you get me. So you are still in a place of isolation. You are still in a place of minimum contact. Sometimes you might not even need to be contacting your spouse, especially depending on the level of relationship you guys are having. If it has been very bad, you have to stay away. But God will give you the wisdom to know what to do, and you have to obey it. But essentially in this season, this is not a place to try and reconcile. This is a place to go before God and submit further. He's calling you deeper. He's calling you to come up higher. Where he says to Moses, come up hither, I want to speak to you. You have to move away from the congregation and take further steps, higher mountain, higher altitude. He always calls you higher. God always calls you to get further than you have been. So you're being called into a higher place. And the good thing about this place now in this season is, apart from what you're seeking him for, when he does the work in you and gives you a promise, he will also give you an assignment. He'll give you things to do that are specific to his kingdom and may not look like they are linked to what you're asking for, even though they will be linked to what you're asking for, but there will be no links at that moment. So sometimes he'll ask you to serve and you're bleeding, and you teach you how to serve obediently without bleeding on anyone. While you are bleeding, he says to Paul these words, and I love him. He says, my grace is sufficient for you. When Paul said, I inquired of the Lord 3 times to take this thorn in my flesh, but the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for you. So there's sufficient grace for you right now, for you to be of service, of good service to the Lord, to the kingdom, to the church, to your community, while there is bleeding happening in you and God is healing you. So this is a season of healing. This is a season of further reflection. This is a season of revelation where God reveals the things that went wrong in the past. And He may, if you go through properly this process, begin to also show you the things that were wrong in your spouse, that we need you to pray over, that you need you to understand, so that you can live with them with understanding when you are restored, because most of this is going to be critical for you to understand, to move forward with them in the future that will come. But before I wind up, I just want to reiterate what I said. This is not your season to go and claim them back and get restored. I know people who are hard prayers to say, I want it here, I want it now. But there is a process that God is working, and God is more interested in the person you are becoming in the process. As you wait on Him, as you learn from Him, as you lean in Him, there's a man, there's a woman He's creating in you that is capable of handling the storms that were there before. So sometimes you'll find that some people will be restored before even their spouses are really converted to be where they are, but have been saved by God through this period to be able to receive someone and live with them in understanding, so that they see the light and the goodness of God through you. So stay encouraged, stay prayerful, stay on your prayer post, inquire of the Lord, pray, fast, read the word, worship God, be of service, serve. And as you do that, God will continue to do what He's supposed to do, to pave a way for you to get into the next season. The next season is going to be very interesting. I'll come again and talk about what is happening in season 3. But as I said, this is not preemptive. I'll be coming in again just to bring in some insight on some of the aspects of the things that you really need to be mindful of in each and every season, especially in this season 1 and 2 that we've already explored. I'll be coming in just throwing in some shorts. Check on our channel and on our community tab. There's a lot of stuff that we'll be throwing in around, so that you stay and have a compass to see where to move and how to move as the Spirit of God. This is a prophetic channel. These are insights that I know you have been put here by God to hear. And if this is not for you, it's not for you. But if it's for you, God will use this to steer you and direct you in the right path. Until next time, stay strong. God bless you.